tell me your thoughts, Daniel, and then are there specific ways and reasons and occasions that we should use LinkedIn email?
Yeah, so I'm with you, Will. InMail's effectiveness isn't great. So whilst I said there are ways you can leverage it, you can get results from it. I'm not going to lie, but I certainly won't sugarcoat it and make it seem like there's a lot of potential in it. The reality is, when you send an InMail, when someone receives an InMail, you know that person has paid to send it to you. If they have paid to send it to you, it means they want something in return. And unfortunately, the majority of InMails that I receive, and a lot of my customers receive, are spammy sales pitch messages. However, they can be effective. And the key to effectiveness, and we can dig into this a little bit, is the personalization. So if you're not sending some sort of copy and paste irrelevant message that's done no research, no homework, nothing's actually personal to them, then it's not going to work. But if you actually have something relevant to say, if you can really reference something that you've seen by looking through their activity, their profile, their website, whatever it may be, if you can find something good, then an InMail can be effective, because some people are really difficult to connect with. Either maybe they've used up their connection limit. There are limits, and there are a lot of decision makers that might have their 30,000 limit filled. There are other decision makers that don't want to connect with salespeople, and you can try all the various tactics, and there are a lot that will help you, connect with decision makers that might otherwise not connect with you, but some still won't. And so an InMail is one of the only ways, because they're not answering your cold calls, they're not replying to your cold emails, they're not connecting with you on LinkedIn. So actually, an InMail is one of your only routes in. But the key is in doing it right. And a lot of that is down to that kind of authenticity and smart selling, not spam selling. That's where InMail fails. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people do.
That's a much more educated opinion on this than my blanket statement of it's BS. That makes total sense. If you're connecting with someone who, well, yeah. So let me just clarify this thing. So I've never really pondered on this. I've never really come across it. If someone has 30,000 connections, if I try and connect with that person, do they just not get anything? Or do they get the opportunity? Does LinkedIn say, hey, would you like to add this person, and drop someone else off the list?
It's an interesting one. So, I mean, I've had 30,000 connections for a couple of years now, and you still get the request. So it still comes through as a connection request. You can click accept, but it won't actually, it does it, and then it resets it back into that connection request. What you would have to do is, delete someone from your network. So on a regular basis, I have to do a cull 200 people so that I can then connect with new prospects, new customers, etc. And, my network's been built up over years. Some of it is historic in industries that obviously I don't sell in now, so which is fine. But yes, you still get the connection request, but they would have to delete someone. Now, obviously, you can follow their LinkedIn profile and you can see all their content, you can engage in their content, but they can't see your content and they can't message you. So if they do if they've reached their connection limit, but you really do want to connect with them, you need to give them a really good reason to want to accept. So you need to put a lot of value in that sort of relationship build-up period. And the best way you can do that is engage authentically on their content, build a relationship like that, and then maybe utilize InMail probably after a couple of weeks or a few weeks of building that sort of foundation to then do a really personalized, relevant message to them that might then open the doors of communication where they then will start to hopefully see you in a much more positive light.
Yeah, and I guess we're probably at this point we're talking. Clearly, you've built a business on social selling, so clearly you've got an incredible amount of people following you and trying to connect with you. With a B2B buyer, we're probably talking about CEOs of public companies at this point, aren't we? We're not talking about your average Joe marketing manager at a Fortune 1000, are we?
No, you're absolutely right. There's not like a ton of people, certainly from a decision maker point, that have used up their limits, but that's only going to increase. The longer that people are utilizing LinkedIn and growing their networks, and certainly people are more and more active on it as the years go on, it's only going to increase. So next year, the year after, there'll be more and more people, more decision makers, C-levels, directors, VPs that start to hit those limits, because businesses are seeing the benefits of LinkedIn, not just from social selling, but from branding, from marketing. So building their audiences is a key thing. And yeah, it will only increase as the years go on.